Good morning and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Hope you're enjoying the cold winter nights and that you rested and you slept well. I was going to read you the book of Joshua, go through some more of that great wisdom from God out of the Holy Bible, but I just feel like I need more time to read it. It's a very detailed account and it may upset some people when we're going through the biblical account of things. So I thought I'll give it some more time. Those of you who are interested, Humble Servant actually did a really great video on the following book after that, Judges, where all the really nasty stuff happened. So if you're interested in that, go to have a look at Humble Servant's video after this one has finished. But I feel like it's worth actually thinking of us. Before we start going back to our Bible study, we should think about our energy levels. How are we holding up? How are you holding up? I can tell you from my personal experience, my energy level has really dropped. And the cold weather hasn't helped things at all. So I'm getting up early, I'm going through the motions, getting ready, having my breakfast, and I'm sat here. Usually I'm really highly motivated to make these videos. And at the moment I just feel like, like I don't have the required motivation to do it. So I'm thinking, I wonder how you guys are holding up. Are you having a problem like this where you're just a little bit lackluster? Like now I could be making a video and doing my usual energetic bit, but I don't feel like I'll be giving you the quality that you deserve. So that's why I'm going to wait on it. And I feel like maybe this is a thing that we all suffer when it starts to get cold and dark, and it is towards the end of the year. Maybe that's the reason why we have a morale penalty, if you like. We suffer in terms of motivation. Or perhaps it's something else. I always like to think that God empowers me when I'm doing the right thing, and then slows me down when he wants me to not do a certain thing. So that makes me think, well, what's going to happen over the next few weeks then? What is going to be such a big deal that I need to be ready for that happening and not be spending all my energy reading the Holy Bible? Must be something important, surely. But I can't tell you, I don't know. So I'm kind of waiting for that thing to happen, and I feel like this is a time when we should be talking to each other as Christians and making our mind up, in that absence of information, what we think is coming up over the horizon. So things in the Middle East seem to have calmed down, is what I was hearing up until a few days ago. And then I hear that some rabbis have been abducted from Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, and Israel are now advising everyone to leave those countries. Now I've got to say, I actually got chucked out of Chuck Holton's chat the other day for saying this, but I think if you are a Christian or a Jew, what the hell are you doing in those countries now anyway? You're at war with Islam. Even though they don't call it that, it's clearly what it is. Christianity and Judaism are now at war with Islam because Islam keep making these attacks, and they have signalled their intent to keep going. They're not slowing down, they're actually redoubling. And we know this from the mounds of propaganda they produce to proclaim that they're doing really well in this war, despite the evidence on show that they've been absolutely decimated. And the last surviving forces of Syria have retreated into the northern desert, and they've buried themselves underground in caves. Where have we heard this before? Oh, that's right, yes, Afghanistan. That's exactly what the Afghani ISIS guys were doing in 2015. They were getting heavily beaten, they suffered huge losses at the hands of the American military, and they retreated back into their caves, and they just waited there. They knew the Americans weren't going to follow them in. That would have been stupid. So the Americans were waiting outside, and they were waiting an extremely long time. And I feel like, is that what's happening here? Is that what we're seeing now in the Middle East? The Syrians have backed off because they didn't want to take any more losses, and they have buried themselves in encampments in the northern Syrian desert. And we know just to the east is Turkey. Now, Turkey has largely stayed out of this war. They've been very vocal. President Erdogan, who I think is a horrible racist, has been very gobby about it, but they haven't actually done anything. So, wouldn't it just make sense that Syria retreat to the northern desert next to their allies Turkey, and Turkey send reinforcements across so that they can make their way back into Aleppo, Lebanon and Syria, and try to retake that area from Israel? And I think maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe that's the reason why God has restricted my energy level sufficiently that I don't feel like making a video about the Bible, even though I love making Bible videos. I really do, I really enjoy it. But I feel like the end result isn't going to be as good as the previous one. So, conclusion on this video is I'm still I still think we should all be reading our Bibles every day, but when it comes to actually preaching them to others, perhaps there is something more immediate that we need to be concerned with. And the thing that we need to be immediately concerned with is the events of the Middle East, and now Turkey, because Turkey is just on the edge of Europe and has a big influence over what happens in Europe. And if Turkey and Syria are to join forces, Turkey are also an ally of Egypt, so that would be Turkey, Egypt and Syria joining forces against Israel, America and Britain. That looks to me like the beginning of a front developing. You know, you have two sides coming together for a larger conflict there. And as we know from reading Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah and Revelation, the Bible does actually prophesize those guys having a war with Israel and then being defeated when the Lord appears on the Mount of Olives. So maybe that's something we should be looking towards, and when we are reading our Bibles we should be scanning for accounts of those things and trying to figure out what's going to happen so that we can be prepared for these things. And then when the proverbial hits the fan, we will not be caught short and we will be ready for whatever comes up ahead, and our lives won't be so badly affected. So that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed that and you learned something. God bless you all. Have a lovely day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. And as it was with Moses, Joshua also does well against insurmountable odds through following the guidance from God. He doesn't argue with God, he takes the advice and he acts accordingly, and that's what we need to be doing. So that's the end of this video. God bless you all, have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.